Welcome everybody to this tutorial going over text. Text is super fun and very easy to use in Photoshop. First, we're just going to discuss text and the options with text, and then we're going to create this in-class assignment together, okay? So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to click this home icon, and I'm going to click New File. I want it to be 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to title it In Class Assignment Text. Okay. I want the orientation in a portrait, RGB color, resolution 150, all looks good. Right off the bat, I'm just going to turn off my locking icon. It's just something I always do in my workflow. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change this background color because it's a little too high contrast for me, and it kind of hurts my eyes. So I'm going to go to my color picker. I'm going to find a color that I like much more than this, bright white. Click OK. Then I'm going to go to my paint bucket, and I'm just going to click that layer to fill it in. Okay, now it's much easier on my eyes, hopefully for you too. And I'm ready to work with my text tool. So this is the text tool in the tools panel. And we've got the horizontal type tool. We've got the vertical type tool. We've got the vertical type mask tool and the horizontal type mask tool. We're not going to worry about the vertical type mask tool or the horizontal type mask tool. We're just going to focus on the type tools, okay? So I'm going to click my horizontal type tool. And now that I have my type tool selected, if I can direct your attention up to this options panel, this is where I can control my text, okay? This is where my font is. I can choose from all of these fonts. The one thing to keep in mind when you change fonts is this window right here. Adobe Clean Font has regular, italic, bold, and bold italic. However, if I were to pick Oswald Heavy Regular, my only option is regular, okay? Then if I move over here, this is my font size. Right now we're at a 36-point font, okay? I could set it to any of these, or I could type in my own numerical value. And then this window establishes how do I want the text. Do I want the text to be sharp, crisp, strong, or smooth? This is the alignment. Do I want it aligned to the left, centered, or to the right? Okay. This is our color. I'll change the color right now because the text color is the same color as the background, so we would not be able to see it. Click OK. And then this is the warp tool, which we will get to in just a second. It's really fun. So now that I have my my font size, I'm ready to type. So I could type one just really long line. Okay. But if I wanted to have it in different levels, then I would click return, practice in class assignment. Okay. And that's how I would create different levels with my text, okay? I'm going to highlight it. It needs to be a little bit bigger, okay? It needs to be a little bit bigger, and the characters are really close together. So I'm going to go to Window, Character, and over here is my tracking, okay? With it highlighted, I'm at 160. Let's try 5. That looks much nicer. Let's see what this tracking does. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So this is another option. I'm going to bring it back to auto because I think that was just fine. Click my check mark. I can also go with my go over here with my move tool and click anywhere in my text to select it. So that's a quick way to select your text. I can also Command or Control T, which is the free transform. So I'll Command or Control T, and then I can scale up and down. Okay. If I hold down my Shift key when I move my transform, I can it doesn't perfectly scale it. I can stretch the text. I can stretch the text in like a wide way. Okay, so that's pretty fun to play with. And when I use free transform, it affects my font over here. Okay, I'll click my check mark. I also want to show you the text paragraph or the paragraph box. So with my horizontal type tool selected, I'm going to click and drag a paragraph box. Okay, and I always get this stock Lorem Ipsum conversation, and it's just what Adobe does. Also, when I highlight this, I'm seeing this little plus sign right here. That just means that there's more text, and I need to pull the paragraph box out more. Okay, and I can click check mark. So here's where I would type paragraphs or anything. So let's add a paragraph from a different source. Okay, I am going to go into Safari, and I'm going to find The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. And then I'm just going to click and highlight, Command C, and then I'm going with my move tool, click anywhere in the Lorem Ipsum to highlight it, then I'm going to Command V. Okay, and now I have my Raven, the first paragraph of the Raven, in my paragraph box. It needs to be adjusted because I've got this little plus sign telling me that there is more paragraph that is not being seen. So I'm going to go up here after I highlight, and I'm going to reduce my font size. Okay. And then I'll click my check mark. Okay, and that's how I copy text from one source and bring it into Photoshop. Okay. If I want to copy a paragraph from a Photoshop document, I'll do the exact same thing. I'll make sure my horizontal type tool is selected. I'll create my text box, my paragraph box. I'll go over to my source in Photoshop, and I will highlight the paragraph that I want to have that I want to transfer. I'll Command C, and then I'll go over here, make sure that Lorem Ipsum is highlighted, then I'll Command V. Okay, and I'll click my check mark. Okay. Next, I want to show you vertical text tool, which is exactly the same as horizontal type tool. So I will not spend too much time in it, but I want to just show you what happens when I type with my vertical type tool. Okay, and it's exactly the same. I'm going to Command or Control T to be able to really enlarge and change that text. Okay. One thing I want to show you before we move on to the in-class assignment is warp text and also clipping mask. So I'm going to remove that practice. I'm going to highlight practice in-class assignment. I'm going to go up here to the warp icon, and then I have my warp text dialog box. I'm going to click arc. I can change my arc here. I can change the horizontal distortion here. I can change the vertical distortion here. Okay. Click OK. I'll click check mark. And since I warped it, it does need to be realigned a little bit. So I'll just move it with my move tool. Okay, so pretty cool. It's gotten much more dynamic. So the last thing I want to demonstrate before we move on to the in-class assignment is the clipping mask. So with the clipping mask, I can make the text um, like a really fun image. I went online and I found a fun tie-dye image. So I'm just going to go to File, Place Embedded. I'm going to find the tie-dye image. I'm going to place the tie-dye image above the text layer that I want affected. And what's really important is that the new layer is above the text layer that I want to create the clipping mask for, okay? So now that I have everything in alignment, I'm going to double click the abstract tie-dye layer, and I'm going to go to create a clipping mask, okay? And now I have this fun text with a clipping mask. I could take it a step further and go to the effects and create a stroke or a drop shadow. But I want to make sure that the correct layer is being affected. There we go. Distance. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty fun. Maybe I'll try a stroke as well. All right, let's put the stroke outside. Okay. Click OK. All right, this is really, really fun. So we've covered the horizontal type tool, the vertical type tool, all of the options that we have. We've covered the character panel, we've covered clipping mask, we've covered warp text, and we've covered the effects that we can do with our text, as long as the text layer is being highlighted for that particular effect, okay? So now that we've discussed all the cool things that we can do with text, let's work on the in-class assignment together. So I am just going to remove that layer, and we're just going to start over. I'm going to keep this background color. You can choose whatever color you want. I just do encourage you to practice color harmony. So I've got my background. I want musical. I want this paragraph, and I want this image. Okay, and then I'm going to create a little stroke around it just to make it feel a little bit more contained. Okay. So I'm going to grab my vertical type tool firstly, and I'm going to change this to Oswald Heavy Regular because it's really bold and big. Okay, and I'm just going to type musical. I'm going to click check mark, grab my move tool, and just move it into place. Okay, then I'm going to Command or Control T to make the free transform, and I'm just going to move and expand the text that way. It's much faster, I find, to do it this way. So that's why I choose this technique. The next thing that I want to do is I'm going to click in my musical to select it. And I want to go to my character panel. And I want to adjust the tracking. Let's go to 5. Okay. So now that I have my musical, the spacing looks good, I'm ready to move forward with my text box. Okay. I think I'm going to change the color really quick though. I don't really necessarily want that hot pink. So I'm going to use my eyedropper tool to Command Z. I'm going to cancel. I'm going to go up here to my picker. I'm going to move the scroll bar. There we go, and click OK. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my horizontal type tool, and I'm going to click and drag to establish that paragraph box. And I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to highlight this paragraph. I'm going to Command C. I'm going to go to in-class assignment. I'm going to highlight, or I could use the move tool, and I'm going to command V. Okay. I'm going to highlight it again, and I'm going to change the tracking just a little bit, and then the distance between each line just a little bit. Okay. And I'll click OK. Now I'll grab my move tool to really just center it to make it look as visually appealing as I can. Now I'm going to grab this image and then bring it over here. Okay, so I'm going to highlight both layers because there's 2 layers. Highlight both layers. I'm going to double click or right click, and I'm going to click on duplicate layers. Then in the destination, I want in-class assignment text. I'm going to click OK. So now it's here. It's still selected. I can just move it into place. Okay. Can make it a little smaller. And then I'll click my check mark. I am not going to affect the pink. I'm just going to affect layer 1, not layer 2. So I'm going to highlight layer 1, and I'm going to go up to filter, filter gallery, and I've got all of these various options. These artistic filters, I've got brush strokes, distort, sketch, stylize, and texture. I really like palette knife, and I can change the stroke size, I can change the stroke detail, and then and the softness. So I'm going to click OK. And now I have changed the image using the artistic filters. The last thing that I want to do is I want to create a border or a stroke around the whole image. So I'm going to go to layer 0, and then I'm going to go to my FX, and I'm going to click stroke. And then I want the position to be inside. And then I could adjust the size. I could adjust the color. I could adjust the opacity, and then I'll click OK. Okay? So now that I have my image, this is what I want you to turn into me, or some variation of this. You could add a drop shadow to musical. You could change the font. But what I'm really looking for is vertical text, a paragraph of horizontal text, and an image. Okay? So once you have that, you'll go to File, Save, and we'll save that to our cloud documents in CMC GA Fall 2024. I'll click Save, and then we'll go to File, Save a Copy on your computer, on the desktop, as a JPEG or PNG, okay? And that's what I want you to send to me. All right, so that is it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful creations. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.